Right. Next point is schema and instances. Schema, a diagrammatic representation or structure framework or plan or outline. So this is the dictionary definition of the schema. The schema means that is a diagrammatic representation. Suppose your civil engineer will give a plan of your home before actual work is going to be start. So from that planning you will get the information how your home look like, which room is where is your hall, where is your kitchen, where is your bedroom. So by using that plan, by using this diagrammatic representation, by using that structural framework, you will know how your home looks like after completing their works. So from that we will get the information about your home. So in terms of database, design of database is called the schema. Okay. So before creating your actual database and by using the particular software at physical level, so at the physical level this is called the schema. So actually it is a design of your database on a paper. So this is called the schema. It is also called the logical structure of the database. So we are not creating actually physically on your hard disks or in your computer system. We are designing the database on paper by having the information of the user requirement. So whatever the user requirement we are having, by using that user requirement we are creating one diagrammatic representation, we are creating one pictorial representation of your database, that is called the schema. This schema is of three types: the physical schema, logical schema and the view schema based on your abstraction levels. So at the physical level we are having the physical schema, how our data is going to be stored at the physical level. So whatever the diagrammatic representation is called the physical level. How our data is going to be stored at the logical level. So before going for actual, we are having one diagrammatical representation. So that is called the logical schema. And view level, which user is going to view which type of data, this is called the view level. Suppose if you are having one student management system or college management system, at that time which type of data is going to view of each and every student, which type of data is going to see by your faculty member, which type of data is going to view by your principal. So these three users having their three different views. So here we are having the three schemas: student schema, staff schema and the principal schema. So these three users having the different views of their database. A schema, example wise, a schema that shows the relationship between three tables: course, student and sections. So here is one table of your database. That database is having three tables: one course table, one student table and another is the section table. In the course table is having course ID, course name, department. Student is having the student ID, student name and the course ID. In that particular columns we are filling the data in terms of rows. The course ID is having your course ID, course name is having the course name, department is having the departmental information, student ID is having their roll number, student name, course ID. In a section, the student ID, section ID and the course ID. So this is your pictorial view or your diagrammatic view of your database. So this is the schema of this database. Suppose this is the college database. That college database having the course, the college having the student and the college is having the section. So this diagrammatic representation about your database. So this is called the schema. The diagram only shows the design of the database. So how your actual database is going to be created, how you are going to store your records, and all these things are the different part. These parts comes after whenever you are having the knowledge of about your softwares. But before that, we are creating the architectural planning of our database. So this diagram only shows the design of the database. It does not shows the data present in those tables. We are not having the data. The course ID is what, course name is what, the which departments, which student ID, which student name. So we don't have the information. We are having only structural information. That's why it's called the structural view of the database. This is only skeleton. This does not have any information. So these are the having three schemas. So first one is physical schema, the database design at the physical level. In that, how data is stored in the block of storage is described at this level. So for that physical level, you have to create the physical schema on which block, which type of information is going to be stored. In the logical schema, database design at the logical level. At this level, data can be described as a certain type of data records get stored in the data structure. So which table is having how many columns, each and every column having which type of data types. So this type of information at the logical schema. The physical level, physical schema is having their memory structure, the logical schema is having their table structure. The next is in the view level. The view level describes the end user interaction with the database. Next is instance. Instance is the data stored in the database at the particular moment of time is called instance of the database. So this is what is instance, data stored in the database. So actual data you are trying to save into the database at a particular moment of time is called the instance of the database. Suppose if you are having first name, middle name and last name information, you are putting this type of information into that particular form and you are clicking on the save button. So this is called the moment of time. So at that time, at that instance of time, I have stored the first name, middle name and last name of that particular students. Okay, database schema. So this is a suppose instance and schema. If you are correlate with your programming knowledge, so in any programming having variable and instance. Okay, so declaration of variable means schema, and at that particular moment you are putting the values into that variable is called the instance. Suppose if you are writing down a program for addition, at that time you required suppose three variables, integer a, integer b and integer c. So that is the only declaration of variable a, b, c. That is called the schema of your addition program. And whenever your program is going to be run, at that time you are providing the value of a, you are providing the value of b and you are getting the value of c. That is called the instance. At that time of instance, you are providing the value of a might be 2, you are providing the value of b might be 3 and you are getting the result that is 5. So this is called the instance of that particular schema, means we are filling the blanks. Okay, so this is called the instance. Then next is data independence. The main purpose of data abstraction is achieving data independence in order to save time and cost when the database is modified or altered. Whenever your database is going to modified or altered due to some reasons, at that time, because of this abstraction, we are having the data independence. This level is not completely this level is not depend on each and one. So that's why we are saving our time and cost. So data independence means the user and data should not directly interact with each other. So your user is at the different level and your data at different level. So because of that, you can modify your user that will not impact on your data, and you can modify your data that will not having the impact on the users. So user should be at the different level and the data should be present at some other level. So due to that you can modify your database at any time without affecting any other level. So that's why you are saving your time, saving your cost for modification of your database. So there are two levels of data independence arising from these levels of abstraction, that is physical level data independence and the logical level data independence. So first one is physical data independence. To modify the physical schema without any alteration to the conceptual or logical schema, that is called the physical level data independence. So what is that? To modify the physical schema. Suppose if you want to modify your physical schema, you can modify, but it will not affect your logical schema. So that's why it is called the physical level data independence. Suppose initially you are having the 1 GB space of your database, okay, and due to some maximizing your information, you want to resizing of that physical capacity of your database from 1 GB to 2 GB. You want to extend the capacity from 1 GB to 2 GB, and database administrator modifying from 1 to 2 GB. But at the time of modification, it will not affect at the logical level. Suppose you are having one room, 10 by 10 room, you are broken down one side of your wall and you are extending into the another room. So at that time, the previous one room is not affecting. So this type of example is there. So the main concept is here. Suppose if you want to increase the size of your database at the physical level, if you want to decrease the size of your database at the physical level, it will not affect the logical level. So this will not having the impact on your tables. Okay. By example wise, the optimization, this is called the optimization process. The logical structure of the database will not be affected by any change in the storage size of the database server, changing from the sequential to random access. Suppose initially you are accessing your data sequentially and you are transforming into the random access. So this is the accession, means you are extracting your data from the sequential fashion or the random fashion. It will not affect on your logical schema. These alterations or modification to the physical structures may include utilizing the new storage devices. Suppose your database is on one hard disk and you are going to shift from the previous one hard disk to the newer one hard disk. So this type of things will not affect the logical structure. So it is having the complete independence from the physical level to the logical level. We are at the physical level. So whenever we are modifying our physical level data, it will not affect the logical level. Modifying the data structure used for the storage, altering index or using alternative file organization techniques. Then next level is logical level data independence. It is to modify the logical schema without affecting the external schema or the application program. So whenever you have to modify your logical schema, it will not affect on the view level. So the user view of the data will not affect by any changes to the conceptual view of the data. Example wise, these changes may include insertion or deletion or attributes, altering tables, structure, entities or the relationship to the logical schema. Suppose you are having one student table. In that student table, you are having the serial number, name of student, address, age, email ID. You are collecting this type of information. Okay. Initially, it has having 4 columns. Okay, and you want to add 2 more columns. You can add at the logical level 2 more columns, but it will not affect at the view level. Suppose if you want to delete 2 columns from that student table, it will not affect the view level. Your information, it easily views the normal user at the view level. So suppose if you want to make any changes at the, you are inserting your data, you are inserting your columns, you are deleting your columns, that will not affect at the view level. So you can change the structure of your table without affecting at the view level. So this happened because of this data independence. So all these 3 levels are completely independent from each other. So that's why we can modify them. The next point is components of data.